that you're growing, because growing takes so long. Growing is very hard. When you're growing, you don't even know that you're gaining knowledge. It just, one day you figure out you've learned something. Well, anyway, I was in this really dark place. It's a really dark time in my life. And eventually, the space started getting smaller and tighter. Things just became more and more uncomfortable. And I couldn't move like I used to be able to move. I couldn't do what I used to be able to do. Couldn't go where I used to be able to go. Eventually, as the days and the months, as the days and the weeks and the months went past, the utterances, I know there were words, but I really couldn't make them out. I really didn't know what they meant. I could hear these sounds, and I could hear this constant thump, 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 thump. And it was just, well, after a while I just got used to it, and it was just that rhythmic beat that I would go to sleep by and I'd wake up by. I don't know why it was there, but it was just there. And soon I lost the comfort. And I figured I had to figure out how to get out of here. But it was dark. And I didn't know what waited for me on the other side of this darkness. I couldn't fathom, I couldn't understand what waited for me on the other side of this darkness. I kept hearing this voice saying, I'm forming you. I'm making you. I'm molding you. And where I was, all I know is it was dark. And then one day, I began to move in a way I didn't want to move. So I began kicking and fighting and kicking and fighting in hopes that I could move back in a position that was comfortable for me. But I didn't win. I was pinned in, and it was dark still. So after all of this fighting and pushing and kicking, there was all of a sudden this bright light at the end of this tunnel. And I didn't know what it was. And I was afraid to go forward, but somehow I was getting pushed closer and closer to that bright light. And it's too tight. I can't move back. I gotta go forward. I think I've outgrown where I've been, but I don't know how to get to the other side of this darkness. And I see there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and it looks bright, and I feel the coldness, and I don't want to go out of this warm place, and I don't want to go out of where I've been, where I've got comfortable at. So I have no choice. I'm being pushed and pushed and pushed. And it's hurting. And it's hurting, and I'm being pushed, and it's hurting. And the light is brighter. And the light is bright. So I squint my eye closed, and I cry. And I'm clipped, and I'm pricked, and I'm rubbed, and I'm pushed, and I'm slapped, and I'm pulled, and I'm rubbed some more. it here. It's cold and it's bright. And people are yelling and screaming. And I still can't make out. I still don't know what they're saying to me. But I'm here now. I'm here. My old world is gone. And what am I supposed to do now in this new world? And I'm crying. And I'm not alone, but all these, I don't know what they are, all these big things, I'm at a loss for words. So I cry. And this is where, and this is how our journey begins.